It was not until the third year of my marriage to Alex that I realized he married me to avenge his dead first love. Under his design, my father died on the operating table, and my mother had a breakdown and jumped off a tall building. He imprisoned me while I was pregnant. Alex said, "This is what your family owes Kathy." I tried my best to die with him, and when I opened my eyes again, we were reborn together. This time, I stayed as far away from Alex as possible and let him redeem his first love. But he came to me again and again, humbly and desperately, "Judy, you can kill me, as long as you are willing to look at me." This is the 7th day of my captivity by Alex. In the basement, he handcuffed my hands and feet and I couldn't move. Dr. Judy, who has always been praised as being as gentle as the breeze and bright as the moon, now has a cold and crazy smile, like an evil ghost. "Judy, do you feel depressed and suffocated now? Kathy has been adopted by your family for 13 years, and she lives a depressing and suffocating life every day." I looked at him in despair. "Is this why you killed my entire family? Just a few months ago, I felt like the happiest person in the world. My father is a medical expert and my mother works in a multinational corporation. I grew up with all the love my parents gave me, and then I met my husband Alex, who was my childhood friend and doted on me. Alex is my father's favorite student and has always been regarded as a genius in his professional field. Coupled with his cool and handsome face that can rival that of a movie star, he would be asked for his WeChat number countless times whenever he made a medical appointment. But he would just smile and refuse. "Sorry, my wife is waiting for me at home." The happy days lasted for a long time, until a month ago, when my father fell ill and needed surgery. The operation was performed by Alex, his most trusted student. It was not difficult and everyone thought there would be no problem. But it failed. Alex was in so much pain that he even said he never wanted to go on the operating table again. It was my mother who comforted him with red eyes and supported her body. "There is a chance of failure in surgery. You have tried your best. Judy's father won't blame you. He still hopes that you can inherit his academic knowledge and save more people." Alex calmed down with the comfort of my mother and me. It happened that my promotion exam was about to start at that time. Alex asked me to concentrate on preparing for the exam while he was responsible for accompanying my mother. However, on the day of my exam, I learned the news that my mother had jumped off the building. I rushed out of the examination room like crazy and rushed back home. Alex told me with red eyes. Mom comforted me, but she didn't let it go and followed Dad and left. Within a month, I lost both my parents and became bedridden. Alex took a long vacation and said he wanted to take me to the beach to relax and recuperate. However, when I woke up again, I was imprisoned in the basement by him. He told me that nothing was an accident. The operation failed on purpose. He was his father's most beloved student, and all the skills he learned were eventually used to kill his mentor. While accompanying his mother, he took the medicine she used to treat depression, quietly replaced with drugs that stimulated her emotions. Then he told her that her husband and daughter had died in his hands. He is the son-in-law that my mother trusts the most, and of course he knows best how to make my mother collapse. Now, I am imprisoned in the basement by him. And he told me that he did all this for Kathy. It took me a moment to realize that he was talking about my cousin Kathy. Kathy is my uncle's daughter, only 2 months older than me. My parents adopted her after my uncle and his wife died in a car accident. When I was 18, I was admitted to a key university, but Kathy was not. After repeating a year, she committed suicide on the eve of the college entrance examination the following year. At this moment, Alex's eyes were red as he listed our crimes. Kathy has never had a happy day in this family. You and your whole family are the murderers who killed her. I coughed hoarsely, choking on tears. So what? Should we all be buried with her? Alex, you succeeded, you have killed my parents, now kill me too. Alex shook his head. He squatted down and stroked my face with a look of disgust and reluctance. I won't kill you, you are the person Kathy hates the most. She told me that since she came into this family, you have tried every means to exclude her and bully her. Therefore, you are the one who deserves to die the most. I will keep you and let you live in pain, making life worse than death. Alex does what he says. He tortured me in every way he could. Sometimes he said he never loved me and married me just to get revenge. Sometimes he regarded me as a substitute for Kathy and vented his desires on me. 3 days later, I managed to escape by ramming Alex's car from behind. The two cars collided and flames broke out. While I was fuzzy, I seemed to hear a female voice saying in my ear, "Someone wants you to start over again." I woke up, not in the hospital, but at home. There was porridge and buns on the table, and 3 people were sitting at the table. Dad, Mom, and Kathy in her school uniform. I was also wearing my school uniform, standing blankly at the bedroom door. Are you still distracted? You're almost late. While scolding me, my mother took out the plastic bag and put the dumplings and eggs in it. It's too late. You can eat on the way. It wasn't until my dad drove Kathy and me to school that I came to my senses. I am truly reborn. This was a very common morning when I was 18 years old. Kathy had woken up 10 minutes earlier and had already finished her breakfast. I would rather skip breakfast and sleep as long as possible. So my mother stuffed a bag of breakfast in my hand and told me to take it with me. At the school gate, I saw the student on duty who was responsible for registering latecomers. It was a figure that was all too familiar. Alex, the 18-year-old boy, was wearing a school uniform and had a handsome face, like the protagonist from a novel. In my previous life, when I saw him, my heart would always beat fast and my face would turn red. At this moment, I shivered and felt a chill from the bottom of my heart. But Alex didn't look at me. His eyes were on Kathy. His eyes were full of joy of getting back what he had lost. I knew immediately that Alex had also been reborn. With the mentality of staying as far away from the pervert as possible, I carried my breakfast bag, lowered my head and tried to get over there quickly. Alex suddenly called me. Wait a moment. His eyes fell on the bag of buns I was holding, and then he looked at Kathy's empty hands. Kathy noticed Alex's gaze. She looked at the breakfast in my hand, swallowed, and looked like she was forbearing. I suddenly understood. This is why even though our family was very nice to Kathy, Alex was very sure that we were bullying her. For example, at this moment, Kathy had already had breakfast at home. But her micro-expressions showed that my family only prepared breakfast for me. She needs to go to school hungry. While I was immersed in shock, Alex came over and stopped me. Give her half. Alex pointed at the dumplings in my bag and spoke coldly. Kathy looked at Alex with gratitude in her eyes. Alex's expression was very pleased, as if he had finally become the hero of his beloved. He didn't realize that I was also reborn. After all, I was driving too fast when I hit him in my previous life. He didn't know I was driving. So he thought that at this moment I was still the girl who was full of love and obeyed him. With a sneer in my heart, I turned around and looked at Kathy. Classmate Alex felt it was pitiful that you didn't have breakfast, so he asked me to share my breakfast with you. Tell me, have you ever eaten it? Kathy didn't expect me to speak so frankly. She was stunned for only a brief moment, and the next second, her eyes quickly turned red and tears welled up in her eyes. The whole person was so weak that he seemed like he was about to break. Kathy grabbed the hem of her clothes, twisted her fingers, hesitated for a while, and then stammered to Alex, "Thank you, but no thanks. If Judy wants to eat, let her eat. I've eaten." Everyone would think she didn't have breakfast, but she didn't want to offend me because she was living under someone else's roof. He was tortured into confessing and insisting that he had eaten it. Sure enough, Kathy finished speaking with red eyes, and Alex's eyes became even angrier. He looked at me and said coldly, "I know you like me, so when you saw me talking to Kathy for a few more words, you felt uncomfortable and started to join your parents at home to target her. But she is your sister, after all. Are you really not going to let her eat breakfast?" Alex thought that after he said this, my girlish thoughts and dark jealousy would be exposed, and I would definitely be ashamed and defenseless on the spot. But when he looked up, he found me eating the dumplings with my back to him. Alex was completely furious. "Why are you turning around? I feel sick looking at your face and I'm afraid I won't be able to eat." Ignoring Alex's red face, I finished the dumplings in no time, threw the bag in my hand into the trash can, and walked into the classroom without looking back. Alex and Kathy did not follow. They didn't show up until the first class started. Before this, Alex had never been late, let alone skipped school. This time, he and Kathy, who was at the bottom of the class, were absent from class at the same time, and the class couldn't help but talk about it. Some people even speculated that they might have been kidnapped at the school gate. Until Kathy posted a message on WeChat Moments. "Or Judy, this is just an ordinary breakfast, but because you are here, it is the warmth I have been looking for all my life." The photo shows a bowl of wontons and Alex's profile. Everyone then realized that it was Alex who took Kathy to breakfast. The class immediately went into an uproar, with everyone's eyes falling on me, intentionally or unintentionally. What's going on? I always thought Judy and Alex were a couple, so why is Alex suddenly getting together with Kathy? Yes, do you remember the group dance activity before? Judy and Kathy both invited Alex to be their dance partner, but Alex finally chose Judy. Why did he suddenly turn to Kathy? Oh, you see, Judy has her head down. Is she crying? Even if I didn't cry, I would be miserable. It was such a huge blow that the boy I had liked for 3 years suddenly treated my cousin so well. My classmates were all looking at me secretly, some were mocking me, and some were watching the show. I was too lazy to even raise my head, I was concentrating on looking at the textbook. When I was in high school, I would always feel upset for a long time because of someone saying bad things about me or someone hated me behind my back. But now I understand that once the college entrance examination is over and the graduation certificates are issued, most of these people will never see each other again. So what the audience thinks is not important at all. The only thing that matters is the test paper in my hand. Love can deceive me, but the score will never. After the second class, I went to the teacher's office with several classmates to answer questions. But at the corner of the stairs, I ran into Alex and Kathy, who had finally returned from breakfast. Kathy tugged at Alex's sleeve, and the usually shy girl now chirped like a little bird, while Alex looked at her tenderly, his brows and eyes being gilded by the sunlight. The two of them saw me at the same time and stopped. Kathy's sunny expression just now disappeared in an instant, and she became timid and scared. She looked at me cautiously and stammered, "Judy, are you unhappy that Alex took me to have breakfast? If you are unhappy, I can apologize to you, but you must not be angry with Alex." My goodness, I didn't say a word and she put a big hat on me. Alex felt so distressed when he saw Kathy's expression that he pulled Kathy over. "Kathy, don't you remember what I just said to you? You are never the one who is wrong, and you don't need to apologize to anyone." Kathy's eyes were filled with tears, and she looked pitiful. "Really? No one has ever taught me this in my life before." Alex touched Kathy's head and said gently, "Of course it's true." Then he looked at me coldly, "You should apologize, Judy." Before I could even open my mouth, several girls around me couldn't stand it anymore. "Come on, Alex, wasn't he being very attentive to our Judy yesterday and saying that he wanted to apply to the same university in the same city as her? Why is he being so aggressive today? If you change your heart, then change your heart. It's very tasteless to help your new love step on your old love." The girls chatted with each other, and Alex's face gradually turned red. Seeing that something was wrong, Kathy rushed over and grabbed my hand. "I know they are all your friends, they can bully me however they want, but don't say anything about Alex." Before Kathy could finish her words, she staggered, took a few steps back, missed a step on the stairs, and fell down. Alex was shocked and rushed to hug her. "Kathy, are you okay?" Kathy huddled in Alex's arms, holding her ankle in pain, tears in her eyes. "I'm fine, don't quarrel because of me." Alex was so angry that he almost lost his mind. He yelled at me, "Judy, how dare you push Kathy in front of so many people?" A girl next to me stood in front of me and said, "Alex, are you crazy?" Kathy fell down by herself. "Yeah, we're all watching." Alex sneered angrily. "What benefit did Judy give you that you all want to help her? Her family is rich, but is being rich so great? Is it worth it for you all to join her in bullying Kathy?" Alex pulled the girl who was blocking me away and glared at me. "Do you know that your behavior is intentional harm? If you call the police, your parents won't be able to protect you. What are you doing?" I held up the phone and said calmly, "Call the police." Half an hour later, Alex, Kathy, and I, along with several other students present, stood together in the homeroom teacher's office. "The police have just come and checked the surveillance footage. The camera recorded it clearly. I didn't make any movements during the whole process." Kathy suddenly stepped back and fell down the stairs. "Judy, you can just go to your teacher for this kind of thing, why call the police?" Although the matter has been settled, the head teacher's face is not looking good. If word gets out that police cars are entering and leaving the campus, it will have a bad impact. I blinked innocently. It was Alex who suggested calling the police. I just listened to him and called the police. And the police have investigated, so my innocence is guaranteed. Otherwise, if someone accuses me of school bullying or intentional injury later, I won't be able to explain myself. The head teacher looked at me angrily, then at Alex, and finally his eyes fell on Kathy. I didn't realize that there was someone in our class who could get into the Central Academy of Drama or the Beijing Film Academy. If you say you want to cry, you will cry. If you say you want to fake a fall, you will fake a fall. Kathy, it would be fine if you don't want to learn it yourself, but why do you want to drag others into it? No wonder the head teacher was furious. First, Alex, who had never taken a day off before, skipped 2 classes for her. Then she framed me and forced me to call the police. Kathy herself was at the bottom of the class, and she was about to drag down Alex and me, 2 top students. The head teacher was really angry. "Don't think that I won't let you be punished just because you are in your 3rd year of high school." Before the head teacher finished speaking, Alex stood in front of Kathy. "Teacher, please don't blame Kathy," Alex said. The head teacher was stunned. She didn't expect that even though it had been proven that Kathy was clearly faking a fall and was framed, Alex was still willing to protect her. Alex said softly, "Kathy did do something wrong this time, but it's not her fault. She just acted like this because she lacked love and wanted too much to experience the feeling of being protected by others. Therefore, the right approach is not to blame her or punish her, but to understand, be kind and heal her." Several students nearby were stunned by what they heard. One girl even forgot that her homeroom teacher was present. Muttering in shock, "Is this fucking sick?" This sentence did not make Alex angry at all. He looked at Kathy tenderly. "It's okay, I know you all don't understand. So only I can be the only savior." After he came out of the office, word spread like wildfire, and everyone thought that Alex might be crazy. Before this, Alex had a very good reputation. He is both the school idol and the top student, and is a well-deserved celebrity. However, from this day on, Alex's reputation began to deteriorate. Girls hate him and think he is a scumbag, but he liked me the day before. The next day, he changed his mind and fell in love with Kathy, and even turned against me because of Kathy. The boys laughed at him for being stupid. How could a rich and beautiful girl like Judy like him? He doesn't cherish her and instead likes Kathy who has nothing. What's he thinking? But Alex ignored it. He tried his best to be nice to Kathy. When Kathy's ankle was injured, he helped her get food from the cafeteria, carry her up and down the stairs, and help her change the dressing. He was also satisfied to see that Kathy's face was smiling more and more. Under his salvation, the timid and self-deprecating girl is becoming more and more cheerful and bright. Finally, under Alex's constant warmth, Kathy finally let down her guard and thoroughly confessed everything she had experienced. Although my uncle and aunt adopted me, they did so only for the sake of a good reputation. They secretly made me sleep in the storage room and refused to even give me a bed. I have to live my life according to Judy's expression. When she is unhappy, she tortures me for fun. "Judy likes you madly," she said, "as long as I dare to talk to you, say a few words. Just poke my arm as many times as you want with the compass. I know I shouldn't have contact with you, but I can't deceive myself, I can't control myself. Do you know that I have wanted to commit suicide countless times? It is your existence that makes me still cling to this world." Alex couldn't bear to listen any longer, and he pulled Kathy into his arms. I'm sorry. Alex murmured, "I should have found out earlier, but it's not too late now." "Yes." Kathy's tears fell in time. She suddenly stopped talking and her body began to tremble slightly. Alex let go of her, followed her gaze, and saw me not far away. God is my witness, I didn't come here specifically to watch this tragic drama. I just went to the office building to get some information from my teacher, but I saw this scene just as I was walking through the central garden. It was too late to turn around and avoid him now. Alex was walking towards me. "You followed me?" he asked coldly. Brother, please look carefully, there is only one way to get to the office building. I'm just passing by, it's you two who are here affecting the appearance of the city." Alex didn't care about my sarcasm at all. He sneered. "There's no point in you following me. Judy, I don't like you. I don't like you now and I never will in the future. If you still want to leave some wiggle room for yourself, don't come to me again and don't bully Kathy again. Otherwise, don't blame me for being rude." I looked at Alex's face, which was so close to me. I had been attracted to this handsome face countless times in my previous life, but now I just want to kill myself. I can't even see that this is a piece of chocolate-flavored shit. Fortunately, in this life, his shit was finally obvious. I smiled and said, "Okay, then I hope we never see each other again, Daddy." After saying that, I ran away before Alex could react to what the name was. In the last period, before the college entrance examination, Alex and I really kept our distance from each other. I am the inspirational heroine in the college entrance examination documentary. I wake up every day and tell myself 3 times to surpass myself and create greater glory. Then he plunged into the pile of papers in one breath. Alex is the redeeming hero in the youth pain literature, taking Kathy to see the stars and the moon every day. Look up at the sky at a 45-degree angle. He took Kathy boating and took a picture of Kathy's back with her long hair blown by the lake breeze. Take Kathy to see the rose wall and draw a picture of the girl's bright smile among the flowers. I took Kathy out for a barbecue, and our moments were filled with mouth-watering pictures of the delicious food. It's actually quite funny to say that all these ways he loves Kathy are what I taught him in my previous life. Alex comes from a very bad family. His father ran away from debt as far as he can remember. His mother either beat or scolded him, and he often lived in extreme pain and depression. I told him that when he encounters unhappy things, he should go out to enjoy the breeze, look at the flowers, and eat some meat. Then maybe everything will be fine. I taught him how to love when he lacked love, and now he loves others in the way I taught him. I should feel sad. But strangely, I found that there was no ripple in my heart. Alex is not worthy of my love. There is nothing wrong with eating meat and looking at flowers in the wind. For the rest of my life, I will definitely have the opportunity to do these things with better people. My current goal is to become a better person. A month later, amid the chirping of summer cicadas, the college entrance examination results came out. My scores are much higher than in my previous life. The dream of studying at Tsinghua University that I could not realize in my previous life can finally be fulfilled in this life. And Alex was eliminated unexpectedly. The top student in his grade, who was once considered a perfect candidate for Peking University or Tsinghua University. I performed so poorly in the college entrance examination that I could only get into an ordinary first-class university. I was a little surprised by this result. After all, even if Alex delayed Judy's review time to accompany Kathy with his foundation, he shouldn't have gotten this score. Until a gossipy classmate told me. Have you heard that before the English exam, Kathy suddenly had a mental breakdown, went to the rooftop, and threatened to commit suicide? Alex rushed over immediately after receiving the call. After he persuaded Kathy to come down and settle her down. When I rushed back to the examination room, the English listening section was almost over. I was stunned. My classmates kept talking and even asked me tentatively, why did Kathy have to commit suicide? Did your family really abuse her? Of course not. I can't say that my parents didn't show any favoritism in the way they raised Kathy and me. This is unrealistic. After all, I am their biological daughter and they cannot give the same amount of love to Kathy. But I can say with a clear conscience that my parents have tried their best to be nice to Kathy. From childhood to adulthood, whether it is clothes or toys, whether it is learning resources or travel and play. If I have it, Kathy must have it too. My intuition told me that Kathy didn't really want to commit suicide. But why did she jump off the building in her previous life, and why in this life? Suddenly, it was as if someone had opened up my Ron and Do meridians, and I understood the logic of the whole thing. I see. It turns out that Kathy didn't want to die either in her past life or this life. This is a game, and death is Kathy's bet. At the end of summer vacation, Kathy came to my house to pack up. She had just finished traveling with Alex, and now she was going to move out of this house completely. In this life, Kathy's college entrance examination scores did not change much, and she still failed to get into college. My parents never suggested sending her to boarding school to repeat her studies. The reason is simple. I have already told my parents about Kathy's slandering of my family. My parents were completely disappointed. After a long silence, my father sighed. I have raised her until she was 18 years old, so I have done my best to repay my elder brother. She will be an adult in the future, so let her do whatever she wants. Kathy didn't mind breaking up with my parents. She now wants to take all her things away, move to a place near Alex's university, and live with him. I watched her pack her luggage in silence, but finally couldn't help asking. Is it worth it to risk death? Kathy paused. Then she turned around and looked at me proudly. Of course it's worth it. You see, in this life, I win. All the speculations in my mind were finally confirmed at this moment. When I died in my previous life, I vaguely heard a voice saying that someone wanted us to start over again. Now I am finally sure that person is Kathy. She is the initiator of the whole rebirth. In her previous life, when she jumped from the building, she knew that the three of us would be reborn. At this moment, Kathy looked at me, with a smug and crazy expression flashing on her fair face. I have liked Alex for so many years that I have written 3 full diaries for him. They say that if you keep thinking about something, it will definitely come true. I think we will definitely be together. But what? In the repeat class, what I waited for was your official announcement in the circle of friends. And I was in that boarding school, I couldn't even get out, I could only watch you seduce him and take possession of him. Why? Judy, you already have everything, why do you want to take away Alex? Fortunately, I got a chance to start our lives over again. Kathy walked up to me and smiled ostentatiously, so I chose to take a gamble. I bet Alex doesn't love you at all, he loves me. I sent him the 3 diaries before I jumped off the building. After reading them and knowing the news of my death, he began to take revenge on you crazily. I could guess what was in the diary without Kathy telling me. She made up a story about how our whole family bullied her, and then expressed her endless love for Alex. The last suicide note I left for Alex: you are the only light in my life. If I don't have the chance to love you again, I would rather die. Kathy sighed pretentiously. I know you are very unwilling now. After all, you like Alex so much and you must be thinking about how to get him back. It's useless. I died for him once. This love is weighty. No matter what you do, you can't beat me again. Kathy packed her luggage and left humming a song. I looked at her back. At this moment, I just felt that she was hateful and pitiful. Kathy died very young in her previous life, only 19 years old. Her cognition was also stuck at the age of 19. When I was a girl, I thought that getting the person I liked was like getting the whole world. When I grew up, I realized that the world is so vast, and the person I like is just one of the countless people in the world. Now Kathy has been reborn, but she is still a girl who believes in fairy tales and thinks that the prince and princess being together is the finale. Not at all. That was just the beginning. The rest of your life will be the real test. And love that fights to the death is like fireworks. It is indeed more passionate than any other love. But the brighter it is, the shorter. I didn't say anything else to Kathy, and even if I did, she wouldn't listen. In this life, I just want to live my own life well. After entering university, life passed by quickly as I worked to improve my GPA, find internships, and hang out in the library. It was a bit boring despite the hard work. Since I had never been in a relationship, my mother, out of a caring heart, introduced me to the son of one of her big clients. He is from Peking University next door and is 1 year younger than me. This guy really amazed me when I first saw him. He was a handsome wolf dog with a height of 1.8 meters. Through the t-shirt soaked with sweat in the summer, you can vaguely see his 8 strong abdominal muscles. Even though I have made up my mind to no longer be obsessed with looks in this life, I still can't help but think in my heart, should I have a bite of this? There happened to be a newly built amusement park nearby, and Wolf Dog invited me to go along. As soon as I entered the park, I saw a couple arguing among the people queuing under the roller coaster. The girl had obviously dressed up carefully, but her makeup was all smudged by her tears. She clearly squeezed me. Why didn't you support me? The boy's voice was tired. There are so many people here, it's inevitable that we'll get squeezed and bumped into each other. Can you please stop making noise? The girl cried even louder. You were not like this before. You said you would protect me no matter what. You said you were my salvation, but why are you now speaking for the people who bully me? More and more people gathered around to watch the show, pointing and talking, and some curious people raised their phones to take videos. The boy couldn't stand it anymore. He left the crying girl and ran to a deserted place and punched the wall hard. Then he leaned against the wall to calm down. Finally, he saw me in the crowd. Yes, the quarreling couple is Alex and Kathy. At this moment, Alex looked at me, his eyes moved slightly, and he seemed to have complicated emotions. You are still wearing a white dress. He whispered, when we were in the first year of high school, I praised you for looking good in a white dress. I didn't expect that we haven't seen each other for so long, and you are still wearing it. I looked at Alex's slightly red eyes and didn't know what to say. He did compliment me on how good I looked in a white dress. That's because I look really good in a white dress. There's nothing wrong with the skirt, and it would be a shame if I never wore it again because of a jerk like Alex. Alex's emotions were in turmoil, and he looked into my eyes. I didn't expect that even after I said so many harsh words to you, you still can't forget me. The next second, an ice cream cone was stuffed into my hand. The wolfhound is back. I grabbed the last raspberry flavor. The wolf dog who was ordered to buy ice cream came up to me and asked for praise. Alex was stunned. He looked at me, then at the wolf dog, his eyes full of disbelief. Then, Alex seemed to suddenly become furious. He looked at the wolf dog. Who are you? Me? The wolf dog pointed at himself inexplicably, then pointed at me. I am her boyfriend, isn't it obvious? Alex's jawline instantly tightened. The wolfhound looked at Alex's ugly face, then looked at me. Baby, is he your friend? I paused and said, not friends. Alex suddenly looked up at me. At that moment, I even saw hope in his eyes. How ridiculous. What is he hoping for? Or was it this conversation that made him feel familiar? In my previous life, someone also asked me about the relationship between Alex and me. Are we friends? At that time, I would always happily say, not a friend. But my fiancé. But at this moment I just smiled faintly. A high school classmate, not really a friend. I held Wolf Dog's arm and said, hey, there are fewer people lining up under the roller coaster now. Let's go. And so, I pulled the wolfhound away. Alex seemed to be alone and stood there blankly for a long time. That day, I avoided Kathy and Alex the whole time. Whenever I saw them arranging an event from a distance, I would immediately pull the wolfhound away. The wolf dog expressed his understanding. They both looked mentally unstable, so it was better to stay away from them. But I didn't expect that after separating from the wolfhound and on the way back to the dormitory, I would meet Alex again. He seemed to have been waiting there for a long time. It had just rained and he didn't seem to take shelter. His hair and clothes were wet and he looked extremely disheveled. I wanted to walk around without looking at him, but he came up quickly and grabbed me. "Just for fun?" he asked in a low voice. "You and that boy were just playing around, right?" My train of thought was so strange that I was stunned for a moment. Alex seemed to get the answer from my reaction and smiled confidently. "Did I get it right? You hired him, right? How much per hour?" "Judy, as expected, without me by your side, a rich girl like you who has too much money to spend will quickly become decadent." I was so angry that I almost laughed. The wolf dog is more handsome and has a better body. But this is not a reason for you to treat others as playmates. Thank you, Alex, for your concern and criticism, but I can only say that without you by my side, I feel that this world is especially beautiful. I said, "Is there anything else?" "Nothing, I'm leaving." I turned to leave, but Alex took a step forward and showed no intention of letting me go. I finally lost my patience. "You are being so sloppy here, does Kathy know that?" I said, "If you stop me again, I will call her and ask her to take you away." Alex looked at me with dark eyes for a long time, then he sighed. "It turned out that you found someone to make me angry just for her. Are you mad at me?" Ignoring my shocked expression, Alex murmured. I told her that there was no need to post so much on WeChat Moments, but she didn't listen and insisted on posting about us going to the amusement park today on WeChat Moments. "So when you saw it, you found someone and came here on the same day to get my attention." Alex smiled bitterly, emotions surging in his eyes. "I have to say, Judy, you win. You made me realize that it's hard for me to forget you, Judy." I rushed towards Alex, arms outstretched. Alex thought I was so moved by these words that I couldn't help but hug him, so he subconsciously raised his hand. But the next second, I passed by him and threw myself into the arms of the dormitory manager who was passing by behind him. "Auntie, help me." I cried and complained that this pervert who came from nowhere was harassing me. The dormitory manager acted decisively. After checking Alex's student ID and discovering that he was not a student of our school, she immediately gathered a group of sisters and took him away swiftly. When he came back, he comforted me. "Don't be afraid, classmate. I have taken a photo of this pervert's student ID and sent it to the work group. If he comes near the dormitory building again, we will drive him away immediately." I was deeply moved and went to customize a banner for my aunt on the spot. After that, I rarely saw Alex again, but I often received things from him. There are headphones I borrowed from him when I was in high school. Help him copy the notes. Bow tie for group dance. I don't know if it's meant to stir up my memories. I threw them all in the trash. After throwing away almost 10 items, I met Kathy. She found out. Standing in the dim corridor, Kathy looked at me, her eyes red and her voice like crying blood. "What did you do? Why on earth? I've already died for him once. He clearly discovered his love for me after I died." As I watched Kathy collapse and scream, I felt a genuine sadness in my heart. "Kathy, have you ever thought about a question? He was not nice to you at all when you were alive, and only started to love you after he died. Is this kind of love really love?" Kathy was struck by lightning and stared at me blankly. I looked at Kathy. She had lost a lot of weight and her eyes were bloodshot. Obviously, in her second life, she did not get the happiness she wanted. In the routine of chasing the wife to the crematorium, when the heroine was alive, the hero was cold to her, didn't care about her, and treated her badly. After her death, he was filled with regret and realized that he still loved her the most. He madly took revenge on all those who had hurt her. Then he committed suicide to die with her. Unfortunately, this is not love, it is the illusion of love. There are always some mean people who cannot control their inherent meanness and think that what they have lost and can never get is the best. Your death triggered Alex's love for you, like a huge firework, which at first glance indeed surpassed all the ordinariness and mediocrity in the world. But what after that? What can we use to continue to fuel this firework so that it can bloom forever? After the fireworks fade away and he returns to his ordinary life, he will become the same person he was before. You bet your life on him to make him love you. So now that he doesn't love you anymore, what are you going to do, die again? I turned to leave, and Kathy screamed uncontrollably behind me. When you tell me this, aren't you trying to tell me that the person he truly loves is you? I stopped and wanted to say something. But in the end, he shook his head regretfully and left quickly. At the end of the corridor, I met Alex, who came hurriedly. His face looked guilty and anxious. Judy, did Kathy come to see you? What did she say to you? Did she not bully you? I looked at Alex's face. Somehow, despite my disgust for Kathy, I still feel a little sad. But for Alex, I just felt like my soul was being vomited. I have broken up with her. Alex said earnestly, Judy, I know my heart. I just feel sorry for her, the person I really like is you. You like mine too, don't you? I saw it all for 3 years. I was bullied by thugs from outside the school, and you gave $2,000 to the owner of a nearby car dealership and asked him to help keep an eye on them. The head teacher in my freshman year of high school accepted a gift and gave the award that belonged to me to someone else. It was you who wrote a letter of complaint to the principal. When I was injured during the basketball league, you cried for a long time and kept waiting outside the hospital. Judy, be my girlfriend, okay? I am sure that we will be happy. Under Alex's earnest gaze, I smiled slowly. He thought this was a promise, so he laughed heartily. But the next words I said froze him in place. Happily for your family broken, Alex? Silence. Alex shivered. Judy, you. I said quietly. Alex, I can say more than what you just said. You were my father's favorite student when you entered the hospital, but you encountered medical trouble during your first surgery. When the patient's family member rushed towards you with a knife, it was your father, who was nearly 60 years old, who desperately hugged his waist and told you to run. Your father owed a loan shark, and the debt collector came all the way to our wedding. It was my mother who helped your family clear off all the debts. She said she didn't ask you to become rich and powerful in the future. I just asked you to be good to me and build a happy little home with me. But what about you? What did you do? I looked at Alex, who was pale, and raised the corners of my lips sarcastically. Alex took a trembling step forward, and when he noticed that I immediately stepped back, he stopped in confusion. I was deceived. He murmured, after Kathy died, I read her diary. At that moment, I regretted that there was someone who was willing to love me with his life and regarded me as his only salvation. But I never helped her during all the years she was bullied, and I even got together with the person who murdered her. I felt so guilty that I wanted to do something for her. But Judy, even at that time I couldn't bear to kill you. Deep in my heart, you are the one I love. I was really wrong, can we start over? This time I will definitely treat you well and be filial to my parents. Don't call me mom and dad, you don't deserve it. I backed away coldly, Alex, this is the last time I will talk to you. If you come to me again, I will call the police. After going downstairs, the sun shone on my body, and I finally felt a little warmer. There were more than a dozen missed calls and WeChat messages from the little wolf dog on the phone. What do you want to eat today, baby? The baby ignored me and waited silently. Where is the baby? Damn, Judy, where have you been? Don't scare me, if you do this again I'm going to call the police. I called him and smiled easily. Let's go and have some barbecue. After that, Alex never came to see me again. Only Kathy ever sent me a letter. In the letter, she sounded very proud. She said that Alex already knew all the truth about her past and present lives. He knew that she had exchanged 10 years of her life for a chance to be reborn, allowing the 3 of us to be reborn together. So she jumped off the building and died, leaving Alex in his previous life to chase his wife and burn in the crematorium. Take revenge on everyone, and then follow her into this life. Including the reason why she attempted suicide during the college entrance examination. She wanted Alex to fail the exam because she was afraid that Alex and I would be admitted to the same university, so she wanted to separate us completely. But even though he knew that I was such a third-rate person, he still loved me. Kathy wrote proudly, he has proposed to me. So you see, the fireworks will keep blooming. Under the California sunshine, I remained silent for a long time as I looked at the letter. Because I was afraid that a lunatic like Alex would do something uncontrollable to me and my family. So I thought of a way to suggest to my parents early on that they sell the original house and move to a new place. So this letter from Kathy, which was sent to the original address, was not delivered to me until a year after it was sent, and I read it. If I had received it earlier, or if Judy had reminded her. After knowing everything, Alex still proposed to her. This was not a good thing for Judy, but a rather dangerous signal. Unfortunately, it's too late. Kathy is dead. Alex's way of revenge on her was so familiar. After marrying Kathy, he announced that he was going on a honeymoon together. But there was no trip at all. Kathy was imprisoned in the basement by him and tortured. Finally, the property management who discovered something was wrong called the police, but after Kathy was rescued, she unfortunately died in the hospital. This wife murder case caused a sensation and the murderer Alex was arrested. In prison, he refused any interviews and only asked to see me. Finally, through a thick layer of glass, I saw Alex. He had a shaved head, was a little fatter, and gave me a humble smile when he saw me. Judy. He picked up the phone and said, I avenged you. She was the one holding us back. If it weren't for her, we would definitely still be living happily. I know you won't forgive me, but at least I can do something for you. I looked at this madman quietly. Judy, it won't be long before I'm executed. But I wasn't afraid at all. I feel like this is a new beginning, I die and then I am reborn. If I could do it all over again, I would definitely cherish you and love you well. I held the microphone for a while and then spoke softly. The reason why I agreed to come and see you this time is because someone asked me to bring you a message. I met the person who brought Kathy back to life. It was a small shop located deep in the alley, and the owners were a very young boy and girl. The boy is called Ethan, and he calls himself a ghost chaser. The girl is called Jack, and she calls herself a tracer. They asked me to tell you that Kathy, could Judy be willing to trade 10 years of her life for a rebirth, because she still has some life left. The happy days lasted for a long time, until a month ago, when my father fell ill and needed surgery. Your death sentence will be carried out at the execution ground in the north of the city. Ethan said that because too many extremely heinous criminals were executed there, all the souls who committed too many sins of killing will be trapped there. There will be no afterlife, and even if there is, they will be reborn as animals. So Alex, we won't meet again. After saying the last sentence, I put down the phone. Alex went crazy. He roared, cried, and was desperate. However, all the loud noises were blocked by the thick glass and could no longer affect me in the slightest. It was September of that year. Alex was executed. My wedding took place. Mom and Dad placed my hand in the hands of the wolf dog, now or Judy should call him my husband. They said, live a happy life. I smiled, tears welling up in my eyes. This time, it will happen.